Here's part two. Damn Crusty Crab. Ew. I got all the parts in I need for this thing, man. I got the new carburetor. Ain't that pretty? I got a new oil filter put on it. Got it full of oil. Brand new battery. I'm going to slap this new carburetor on here, and we're going to fire it up. You got 4 bolts holding the shroud on. You know, you got a O-ring around this. It's kind of tough to get that thing off, but let's put it together. Put it together. I guess I could have had my tool ready by now, but you're going to have to wait for that. Go ahead and wait when you're ready. Let's see, we need 3 8s, need 5 16s, need 7 16s. Get my glasses on, I can't see what I'm doing. Maybe y'all can see me without me getting my big head in the way here. Well, we got 2 nuts on there, 7 16ths. We'll take that off. And we'll put the 5 16ths on there. Take the little studs out. 5 16ths. And don't lose that gasket right there. But pop that choke lever off. Spin this thing around however you need to get it. And then this little spring goes in that little hole right there. Make sure you get that back on. Make sure you don't get this spring twisted around that shaft right there, because it'll run like crap if you do. Everything's got to be perfect when you put it back together. Alright. Ooh, that carburetor still stinks. Stinky, stinky. Grab us a new gasket. Okay. This carburetor was like 18 bucks. Brand new, it's aftermarket Nicky. And in the box it came with, it comes with a fuel line. I don't use these cheap fuel lines. It even comes with a new replacement Nicky style gasket. Clamps, all that good stuff. And of course it comes with all your junk goodies. Fuel screens, shut-off valves. Don't use none of that stuff, it's junk. Look at that spark plug, that is some cheap spark plug right there. I don't even know what the heck that is. Junk, junk, junk. Now what did I do with the gasket? There it is. There goes a military jet flying over. Take that rubber band off, don't need that. A lot of these carburetors come with this little tit right there. Don't know why. What happens is it will rub when you put this thing back together and you got your shroud on there, it'll rub right there. So we will get rid of that. The last one I put on, the last aftermarket carburetor, when you put it all back together, I found that this thing will rub the inside of that manifold right there. So I just took this out and I ground it. I'm going to do that now. I don't want to have to take it apart and find out it's going to rub again, so just slide it right out. I'm going to put it on the grinding wheel and take a little off right there, because I don't want to have to do it later when I find out it does rub. Just a little bit. I just ground it just a little bit, and then we'll just stick her back in there. See, it'll stop when it hits these little indentions. Stick it back in there like that right there. Get in there. And make sure it sits in there flush like that. It's not as good as quality as the original parts, but it's good enough. Gooder than enough. So we will hook that right in there. You got to get it just right. I hear the little bird chirping out there. It's fixing a storm. That's why it's December 18th at 10:30 in the morning. It's 71 degrees out here right now. That's kind of scary. Kind of scary. Get in there. These aftermarket carburetors, they're kind of a booger to get on there. They ain't exactly precision. Now make sure that spring ain't wrapped around too much. Come here, little spring. I want you to go in that little hole. Right. I'm going to use my needle nose. I'm going to end up bending that spring. Let me get my needly nose. If anybody knows needle nose. Now it doesn't hook around that. Come on, there you go. There you go. Now we'll hook the choke up. It goes in that first hole right there, by the way. First little hole. Sometimes I'll just pull the darn thing out. Is my big old head in the way? Can y'all see what I'm doing? Get it back in that little slot right there. Alright, put your little gasket on there. Let me raise that camera up a little bit. I've got a feeling y'all just watching the back of my head while I do that. There we go. Now you won't have to stare at my bald spot. I'll probably watch this video again and you won't see a damn thing I did except the back of my head. That would be tragic. I'm going to post it anyway though. I ain't scared. Find a hole there, boy. Some of these intakes have the metal insert, and some of them are finer or coarser thread. It just screws right into the plastic. I don't know why they do something like that. And some are different. Now this little ventilation tube for the crankcase pressure, get this out of there because that's what belongs inside the, that belongs inside the manifold. I'm going to pull this out. Sometimes it'll come out and stick in the tube. I don't like that. There we go. Let me give that a squirt. There you go, just blow it all over the shop. Oh god, that's supposed to stick right in there like that. Boy, that thing's nasty too. Goodness gracious. Okay, that goes in there like that right there. I should have sprayed it off a little better, but that'll be alright. Not my lawnmower. Oh god. I know I use my impact to take things apart with, but I don't want to do that putting them together. We'll just give this thing a little snug. I got a habit of over tightening things anyway. That's probably why that choke flap probably rubbed that manifold. I just got it too darn tight last time. Good. Good little snug. Okay. Snug this one up a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to put this back on there. Get my big old bald head in the way there. Make sure this O-ring is good. I really need to replace them. They get so flattened out they don't make a good seal. Make sure it's clean. Put the nuts on there. I done lost the nuts. Down on there like that. Down on there. Boy, they hid this one real good. Let me grab a ratchet. Seven sixteenths. You ain't got to get crazy with it, man. Remember, it's plastic. Just a little snug. Yeah. That's good. It's not rubbing anywhere. It probably would have rubbed and stuck right there, choked, if I hadn't ground that a little bit. And we got rid of that little nipple tip sticking up right there. It'll rub the. On some models, it'll rub. This one may not be that way. But. Okay, let's see. Plug in your little silly little Noid right there. Let me turn the key on and see if I can feel it click. There. Oh yeah. Put the little hose back on there. This model, when you take the shroud off, it doesn't have a screw that goes down into this manifold. But see, this whole thing is plastic. A little bump on this thing, you know, you're turning around in the yard, hit something, you'll bust this plastic manifold right there. Look at how it flexes. Ew, I don't like that. But anyway. Alright. Put the shroud back on there. And this, make sure it goes back up there in this little thing just like it's supposed to. And this, the shroud that's hooked to the dipstick tube, make sure it goes on the outside of this starter cover. Because if you get it on the inside, it'll force it, it'll bust all them cooling fins off that flywheel, then you'll be ordering more parts. Alright, just perfect. I have done that before on a Kohler. Now make sure this O-ring on this manifold is good, not missing. Boy, this thing's crusty. Golly. That's going to be the funnest part of the whole thing, is getting the pressure wash this thing. Watch it come back brand new. Okay. Put the little bolts back in it. The long bolts go in the back, and then the shorter bolts go in the front. See, it's got the shoulder bolts. Short ones go in the front. And it's always easier to take these two bolts off. Take the fuel tank, get it out of the way. That way you can get your fingers back there, and you got to fight with a little end wrench trying to do this. Look at that. That one went all the way down. That's good. That's good. We're fixing to fire this thing up, boys. And I can't wait. Seemed to run good last time. It didn't smoke at all. Okay, these bolts have a 3/8 head. Put your little ratchet on there. Very gently in the front. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit. Now make sure that that tin's in there just right, everything is looking good. I always like to spin the engine around, make sure that flywheel ain't catching nothing. Everything's on there nice and square. Alright, I'm going to put the dipstick back. You don't have to pull this dipstick out, but I like to do that because you can wiggle it a little better. Okay. Now I'll slap the fuel tank up there. I've already got the fuel line replaced. I'll just lay that up there like that right there. I'm going to put a... Hey, let me do that now. Let's see, I need 1, 2, 3... Ooh, boy, it's raining good now. I know a lot of people are probably going to pass out when I use my side cutter to cut this fuel line, but Get that out of the way. Let's see, I want to put that fuel filter right about there. Oh, it's getting rough out there now. I like to put them on this way because when the fuel comes in, you can see what's trapped in there and you can see the water. Don't put it like that. Put it like that. That's the way I like to do it. Make sure it goes all the way. Put a little lube on that right there, goes in there better. It'll go on there a little easier. Alright. I like to have my clamps go in the same direction. And they all match. But that looks pretty when you do that. Looks pretty. Come on, boy. That's quality right there. And they always have to be lined up with each other. That's just me. Okay. Let's see, that's going to stick out too far. Let me trim a little off of this thing. That's where it's supposed to be right there. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to take a little off the top here, boys. Boy, don't that just pretty. Don't that just damn pretty. And I like to come in here with a nice little zip tie. Don't get it too tight, you'll choke off the fuel flow. Alright, she's already full of fuel. I put fresh fuel. I didn't put a whole lot of fuel in it. But I'm going to go ahead and put them bolts back in there. I don't like that thing bouncing around while I'm running it. We're fixing to fire it up, boys. We are fixing to fire it down up. Get all this stuff off of it. I don't like having anything laying anywhere when I'm fixing to crank something. That's just me. Okay, we got fuel, we got oil. Well, you know, I need to put a spark plug in, I guess. That'd help it run. Yeah, it would help it run. Use a good spark plug. Y'all want to see a grown man cry? You let T-Bone see me put in the auto light spark plug. Ooh, God, he's gonna get my goat. T-Bone, you can't watch this. T-Bone ain't allowed to watch this because he don't like my spark plugs. That's all right. He still loves me. All right, let's make the neighbor's kids cry. Let's fire it up. Oh God, the brakes are locked. Everything seems to be functioning right. Choke and everything works. A little governor arm. Let me get my finger in there and feel that. Okay. Okay. Let's fire it up. I got the wheels and everything jacked up in the back, front, so you know it ain't gonna go nowhere in case it decides to try to leave me. We got a runner, boys. She sounds pretty good, you know. It's just a lawnmower. We're not building a NASCAR. We're not trying to win the Alabama 5000 or whatever the hell you want to call it. There it is, fellers. She runs. Now I got to do the front end. I got to put tubes in all the tires. I'm going to pull this deck off and go through it real good. It's missing a spring for the spindle brake. I'm going to clean the deck, lubricate it real good so everything's working fine. Make sure all the bearings are good, flip it over, sharpen the blades. There's still a number of things we have to do. Y'all stay tuned, fellers.